Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Mariam Data Science Wali and I am a student at Rehan from Campus Level 1. Today we are doing again interview with a special guest and today's special guest name is
Michaela, nice to meet you.
Makila. So first of all, I can ask many questions in this interview. And firstly, thank you so much for giving precious time and giving interview. And how are you?
Thank you so much for taking the time to interview me as well.
You're welcome. And how are you? How was going day today?
I'm doing great. Right now, it's 7:12 in the morning for me. So I'm just happy to be meeting you this morning.
Okay, that's great. So so I can ask the questions and you can answer it. So my first question is, what inspired you to start Lovely Hearts and why is its main mission?
Yes, I was inspired to start Lovely Hearts actually for a few different reasons. One of those reasons was my house burned down about, I want to say it was like maybe 8 years ago. And when that happened, I saw the abundance that everybody had already. So all of my neighbors came together, all of the community members, a lot of different churches. And I just saw how absolutely beautiful it is when we're able to work together and to bridge resources. So from that, I realized we already have what we need to create a beautiful world. And so Lovely Hearts was just my next step in helping in a more organized, transparent way where we're able to give back and to help through education empowerment, purposeful travel tours, and community service.
Okay, so I can forget to introduce ourselves.
What did you say one more time, Miriam?
Can you introduce ourselves?
I'm Do you mind typing that question?
Okay. So, can you tell me a short introduction with our viewers?
Oh, yes. So my name is Michaela. Everyone calls me Love. That was a nickname that was given to me over 10 years ago. I'm a humanitarian above all. I have two children who are teenagers, so I'm also a single mom. My background is in social work, so I have my master's degree in social work. And ever since I was little, my parents taught me to give back to others and to treat everyone equally and with dignity. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, thanks for introduction. And my next question is, how can people support or get involved with Lovely Hearts?
Yes, we have a website. Our website is www.lovelyheartsnonprofit.org. So this is a great way for people to fill out a volunteer slip on the very bottom of the website. We like to know what people are interested in when it comes to volunteering, because I know one thing that has personally happened to me myself is when I'm trying to volunteer at a new organization, it's a little bit hard to know what to do, who to reach out to, what my role might be. And I think there's nothing worse than trying to volunteer in a role that you really don't want to do. So, one thing that we like to do with Lovely Hearts is we like to plug people into what they're actually inspired to do. And that's one thing that I feel that we separates us from other organizations is we personalize every single volunteer opportunity, and we also personalize our tours as well.
Okay, that's great. So my next question is, what one's lesson you learned that you wish more people knew?
Yes, I think one lesson that I've learned that I wish more people knew is actually a lesson that I've learned a few years ago, but it's something that came up this week. Um, it's it's very disheartening sometimes when people are unsatisfied with their own life, or maybe they just feel that push that they should be doing more, and instead they want to attack or basically spread rumors about people who are actually trying and doing the work and making things happen. So, one thing that I learned from another nonprofit director is this is something that a lot of nonprofits face, as well as NGOs. Um, but there needs to be a balance between people recognizing that if you think there's a problem with an organization, reach out, talk to the financial director, talk to the board, maybe even ask for an annual financial report. So I think a few years ago, when something came up where people were kind of questioning my organization or any organization, to be honest, um, nobody actually reached out for any details. So I'm just very, very thankful that with Lovely Hearts nonprofit, we're very transparent. We always answer questions right away. And that's the beauty of our organization, is that everyone on the board is very heavily involved and knows what's going on. So, the other thing is we also have open board meetings. So if anyone's interested in which direction we're moving in the future and the projects that we're starting and creating, we welcome anyone to join our board meeting on Zoom. So that's one way to get involved. And we do like international partnerships. So we're always hoping to get volunteers from all over the world, because the more we have, the stronger we are, right?
Okay, that's awesome. So my next question is, if you could write a letter to your future self, what would it say?
Oh, that's a good question. So there's actually something that a friend of mine told me last week. We were standing outside and talking actually in the middle of the night. And this friend of mine, his name's Adam, to be honest, he had told me, "You can do better." And that's something that has been echoing in my life all week, is ways that sometimes I might think, well, hey, this might be an easier route, but sometimes we know that we can do better. So if I were to write a letter to my future self, I would say, great job continuing to believe in yourself and knowing that you're going to make it. I always knew that you would reach this amount of success and that people would be able to basically be able to help each other. It's not about me, it's about the organization. And honestly, it's about community. It's about all of us being able to inspire each other and work together as a community. So if there were a letter to my future self, I would say, just keep doing what you're doing because you're doing everything the way that you should be.
Okay, so my next question is, what's one's experience that changed the way you see the world?
Oh, yes. So, one experience that changed the way I see the world is when the war in the Middle East started. I also want to clarify it didn't start on October 7th, 2 years ago. I want to clarify that this has been going on for a very long time. But with that said, my background, I'm Lebanese. Um, I have a lot of family that's from Lebanon, including my own grandfather. And one of the things that is most important to me is preserving our own culture, because even growing up, I didn't know much about my culture. I knew about the food that my family cooked. I knew about tradition of Muslims, um, and I knew about prayers at certain times, but I didn't know much about Lebanon or even the Middle East in general. So, one thing that really changed the way I view the world is when I started representing myself as somebody that's Lebanese, because before it's been something I hadn't really talked about too much, besides with my family. And I was very taken aback by the uncomfort that people were having when I even brought up my ethnicity, or even just bringing up the war. I think that every child should be able to live in safety and should be able to have access to clean water, resources, and be able to um, help in and get medical attention. So one thing that was very disheartening for me was seeing that this racism and discrimination towards many different cultures, it still exists. We're in 2025, and this is still something that we face all over the world, not just in America, but everywhere. So one thing that I like to address is I am proudly of Middle Eastern heritage. I'm also American, and I'm very proud to be American. But at the end of the day, um, there's a melting pot that created America from all different cultures. And I want to make sure that I continue mentioning that, because we are a lot of different cultures, and all of them should be respected. And, we should learn about all cultures. So, yeah.
Okay, that's great. And my next question is, if you had to define your mission in one powerful sentence, what would it be?
Ooh. My mission is to help as many children and individuals find their own power and create their own legacy and their own purposeful drive. I have no desire to be a manager, a boss, a mentor, or anything like that. My desire is reminding people of their own strength and empowering themselves, because we all have what we need to create a beautiful future.
Okay, thanks for answering. So my next question is, what's a small act of kindness that had an unexpectedly huge impact?
Yes. One act of kindness is actually the grace of a small, inspiring phrase or word. I really love to be that person that's able to compliment somebody, or to say, hey, you're making a difference, or keep up the good work, because there's so many people in the world that will do the opposite, that will put somebody down for their new ideas, that will tell somebody that they're never going to make it, that might tell somebody, oh, you're not capable of achieving that goal. And I want to do the opposite. I like to remind people that we can achieve all that we want to. Sorry, I'm having some issues with my light right now. But the other part of it is I know that everybody is capable and we're all in this together. So just building each other up.
Okay, that's great. So my next question is, what the most inspiring message you received since winning?
The most inspiring message that I've gotten has been from numerous people. And these are actually people that might have been following my journey, might have known me for many, many years. And these are people that I don't even stay in touch with that often anymore. But sometimes they take the time to message me and say, hey, thank you for speaking up about this particular issue, or thank you for being an advocate, or thank you for making me feel a little bit more safe. These are messages that I get at least once or twice a week, and they make a big, big deal to me in my life, because nobody knows what everybody's facing. Nobody knows what they're up against every day. I have some serious health problems that are going on, and I don't really post about that or anything like that in detail. So it's really nice when people take the time just to say, hey, this is something good that I see that you're doing, and thank you for doing that. And that actually makes me more inspired to say those things to other people as well, because we're all making a difference by the stepping stones that we have.
Okay, so my next question is, how can people, okay, how can people support or get involved with Lovely Hearts?
Oh, we already went through that question. But the other thing is, we
Okay,
are hoping to inspire more international tours. And I would absolutely love it if, after we talk to the board, we're able to do a tour to Pakistan as well. So that is something that we're hoping to do in the future. I'm not sure what the date would be or which year, but it is definitely on my radar that we would like to make a trip to Rayhan schools in Pakistan.
okay, that's great. So thanks again answer this question. So my next question is, how do you see yourself defining what it means to be a beauty queen?
I actually really love this question. So, I want to say maybe a month ago, I was accepted as Miss Oceanside for the goddess pageant. And this is an international pageant. It's a new pageant as well. And one of the things that I was talking with my grandmother about was why? Why would I do this? What is the point? And, it's very, very special to me because, for one, I haven't been in a pageant since I was probably 2 or 3 years old. For two, I haven't looked at myself as being in a beauty pageant as well. I focus more on my heart and what I do for others than the idea of what beauty is. And the third thing is, I feel like I have a lot of improvement to make still. So one of the things that I would like to get better at is public speaking, which is why I do interviews, which is why I'm joined the beauty pageant, and which is why I'm hoping to be able to speak in front of larger audiences in the future, is because I still have a story to share. And I haven't shared that yet, about my own life. And so one thing that I hope to do by being in this beauty pageant is to be more honest and authentic in my own skin, and to be able to share who I am on a deeper level. That's one of my goals. The other thing is, I'm 37 years old. I'm almost 40. And in previous beauty pageants, I have noticed that there is beauty of all shapes and sizes, of all ethnicities, of all sizes, like short, tall, skinny, bigger, and you know what? They're all beautiful. So I just really want to be a part of that, because I think that beauty, the idea of beauty, is shifting so much in the world right now. And I think that we really need to embrace it at all sizes and at all phases of our life. So yeah, I'm very excited to be a part of it. And I can't wait for what the pageant will help me achieve.
Okay, thanks. So my next question is, if you had to describe lovely hearts in a single powerful quote, what would it be?
Lovely Hearts empowers others through purposeful travel, community service, and helping others find their own empowerment through education.
Okay, that's awesome. So my next question is, what was the biggest challenge you faced when starting Lovely Hearts, and how did you overcome it?
Yes. So, one of the challenges that I faced when starting Lovely Hearts is, how do I even start a nonprofit? One thing that I faced was I was already starting to fundraise internationally for an NGO that I'm co founder of, with one other person named Sari Lee. And what I figured out is, when you actually contribute to another organization or another part of the world, sometimes that doesn't actually it I'm trying to figure out how to explain this, but we have taxes in the United States, and so everybody is forced to pay a certain amount of taxes. But when you actually fundraise for something else that's not listed as a nonprofit, they tax you. So even though I was doing very, very good a few years ago, and I was raising a ton of money for some different projects that we had running internationally, I ended up being taxed over $4,000. So that money came out of my own pocket. And it made me think, hey, I really do need to start a nonprofit the legal way in the United States, because this is something that I want to create internationally, not just in California or the United States, but all over. So one of the ways that we were able to do this is we were able to have the help of Wat Kamai and Riverside, who funded our nonprofit documents. And so we were able to be approved as a 501c3 nonprofit in the United States. And that way, we're legally able to contribute to these projects that we have running, not only internationally, but also in our own community locally. So I would say that that was part of the biggest issue for me, is that I'm not particularly great at documents or paperwork. But it was something that I knew that we needed to do to have a more well-rounded organization.
Okay, so my next question is, how do you think women can drive meaningful change in society?
I absolutely love this question, because I think that this is actually the powerful force of the future. I know that women are so capable, and our society has made it so that we trust men more so in these powerful roles of leadership. But the truth is, women are fully capable as well. We've seen this by people who have like Amelia Earhart, who has taken a plane around the world, and many other powerful women. I should also mention Harriet Tubman, because it is Black History Month as well. So there are a lot of women from around the world who have stood up against social justice issues, and they have seen crowds rally behind them and support them. So I think that one thing that we need to lean into is that sometimes we have to become uncomfortable to bring powerful change to the future. And, you know, sometimes that means being arrested for climate change. Sometimes this means waving a flag around at the halftime show about a cause that you believe in. But at the end of the day, we still need to continue to speak up. And we still need to continue to vote and to mention some of these ways that women are held back in our society. So, and I definitely don't want anyone to do anything that would risk their safety. But at the same time, sometimes we can be proactive and advocate from a safe level. For example, if something is going on, maybe some improper treatment in a prison, it's good for people to share about that so that advocates can try to create better policies to support these individuals that are facing rough times. So we have the power to be able to create that change, and we can do that by our voice, by helping with policy changes, and by even creating a group where we talk about things that we want to change in the future. It's all possible.
Okay, thanks for your answer. And my next question is, what's for you, and what's the next big impact you want to make?
Well, I actually can't share exactly what this answer is, but I will say that I am meeting with someone for a documentary. And she's absolutely pleasant. And I'm so excited to be working on this project. I can't share too much about it because it's still in the developmental planning process, but I'm just absolutely honored to be working with a director on a very special piece that is close to my heart. So stay tuned. You might be seeing me on a billboard or even on your movie screen sometime soon.
Okay, so my next question is, okay, winning Miss Oceanside is a huge achievement. What was going through your mind in that movement?
Yes, so I am representing Miss Oceanside, and I am so thrilled to be doing that. Oceanside is very close to my heart. I've grown up around Oceanside my whole life, whether in the town or around it. And I've always supported the growth and also the concerns of Oceanside. I have been a member of the Oceanside Homeless Resources for about 8 years now. I've been on the board of directors for maybe 4. And we also help with many other organizations like Rising Hearts and other organizations where we help house the homeless. We help people that have faced domestic violence issues and basically just bridging together resources. But I've always been on the back end of that with the grassroots organizations. But now I'm starting to be more in the center, which means that I'm now working with the government of Oceanside. I'm working with one of the mayors, or I'm sorry, that I think his position is the mayor, but I could be incorrect. And we're also having a planning meeting tomorrow in Oceanside about how we can help the homeless population. So these are things that are very, very close to my heart and things I've been invited to and been included in for many, many years. But now I'm taking more of a role on being more recognized so that people can come to me and say, hey, this is an issue that I see happening. How can you help us with this? And I'm just very grateful for that opportunity because I want to be able to help as much as I can.
Okay, that's amazing. So my last question is, what fuels your passion even on the toughest days? Tough days.
What fuels my passion is knowing that I'm helping children. I know that I'm setting a great example for my children because I didn't let any limits or um, anything stop me from my own potential. The other thing is I meet children around the world and I'm just so inspired by them. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with people like you, really. And that's what fuels me. It fuels me that there's so many brilliant leaders of the future. And I'm just so happy to be a part of it. Like I say with a lot of students that I work with, please check in with me and let's stay in contact because I want to see all that you can be and achieve. And that's what fuels my drive is knowing that we're all in this together and we're all supporting each other long term, not just for an interview, but long term.
Okay, thanks for giving a answer. And my next question is, where do you see yourself and the hearts in the next 5 years?
Ooh,
In the next 5 years.
no one's ever actually
That's
asked me that.
interesting.
Yes, I love this question. So I actually see myself living
Okay.
part term or full term in Cambodia. I see myself owning land and I see a beautiful sunken NGO built, and that will be helping with education empowerment, mental health, and providing resources. So I'm just absolutely excited about that. I also don't want to limit my own potential or the potential of Lovely Hearts. I know that it's very, very possible for us to expand in other countries as well, as long as we have the right stakeholders and sponsors. So I'm just very, very excited to be working with so many incredible organizations. We just received a $250 donation this week. And, we've been partnering with Rayhan School for a while now, and we're just really, really excited about what the future holds. So that's what I see clearly, but I know there's always potential for more.
Okay, thanks for giving this answer. And my next question is, you achieved so much. What's the next big dream on your horizon?
Ooh, I would like to buy land. That is the next big dream of mine. I would like to buy land internationally, and I would also like to use it for a good cause. So I already have somebody that I'm partnering with. I already know which land I will be purchasing, and I'm just very, very thankful for the opportunity. I'm very thankful for the people that I'm working with, and I'm very thankful for Lovely Hearts because I know that I wouldn't be able to achieve anything like this without an organization that believes in our goal, which is empowering people through education.
Okay, that's amazing and good answer. So my next question is, how do you stay motivated despite challenges and setbacks?
I stay motivated because I believe in God and I know that I'm doing what I need to be doing. I self-reflect and self-analyze daily. I'm constantly checking in with Lovely Hearts board members to make sure that everyone's aware of what's going on. I'm also working with local schools on mental health programs. So mainly, I just feel that there's everything's aligned in my own life with what I should be doing. And that is shown daily with the synchronicities that are popping up in my life. So I'm just very, very thankful for all the projects that I'm involved in. And like I mentioned before, it takes a community, it takes a village. So I'm just very thankful for my village.
Okay, that's great and good. So my next question is very interesting, and I can ask. So if you could give a TED talk on any topic related to your dream, what would it be?
So I was actually already approved as a TED Talker a long time ago. And at the time, I was going to talk about my own journey with CPTSD. But I think that now I would change my topic to include resilience and how we are able to overcome everything to continue building resilience. So I think that if I were to have a TED Talk recently, which I do want to do in the next few years, as I mentioned, I want to get better at public speaking, but I think it would be on resilience because I've been through a lot, and that actually makes me show up with more compassion towards others.
Okay, that's great answer. And my next question is, what's one project you have done that made you emotional?
Ooh, well, one project, this is from a few years ago, but I was in the rural village of Siem Reap on the outskirts in Cambodia. And a few years ago, I was able to volunteer with an organization on building a house. While we were doing it, there was about maybe 8 or 9 people that were building the house. It started to rain. So there was people outside that were literally putting the walls up. And then there was also people like me inside. I was actually like sanding down the wood to make it where people could sleep on the wood and not trip at all. And, it was very incredible to me because I heard a lot of yelling from outside of the house. And I realized it was starting to rain. So everybody was starting to panic about finishing this project in time with the rain coming. And it was just so, so, so incredible because I literally saw the roof being put on top of the house while I was inside. And as I got out of the doorway and I walked down the stairs, I could see this family, their faces just lighting up with the excitement and the happiness, the thankfulness. And, it was so rewarding. I remember I was actually just crying because I was working so hard and sweating so hard, sanding down the floor, and just knowing, oh my gosh, this was all worth it. This was hard work, but it was worth it. And those memories are what I like to remember.
Okay, that's nice. And my next question is, what roles done solely what roles done does storytelling play in making an impact through lovely hearts?
Yes. So Lovely Hearts is creating a lot of different educational programs. We also have a grant writer right now. And we're hoping to help people with storytelling, with writing, even with learning how to write grants. So these are all in the works with Lovely Hearts in the future. And we're just very, very excited to be able to present these ideas to people for either free or low cost. Because as I mentioned, this is about bridging the resources to people through education. So we don't want things to be unaffordable. We want people to be able to work together and to learn to create powerful change in their own communities.
Okay, so you can giving answer very amazing, and I am very enjoying with yours. And my next question is, what's the most powerful thing someone has said to you about your impact?
That's a really tough question because people have said many, many different things to me about my impact or the purpose of Lovely Hearts, really. Um, I think that one of the really important things to remember is that when when things align, it's just so, so special. So I think it was 2 weeks ago, we were able to do a outreach by donating 55 helmets to different individuals with children. And this is about a public service announcement in Cambodia about the safety of wearing helmets on motorcycles. There's still a lot of accidents, and I'm not sure how it is in Pakistan, but this is something that's very concerning to our organization still, is that these deaths and injuries can sometimes be prevented. Um, so one of the things that we've been working on is this helmet incentive, and it was quite amazing. I reached out to someone, an influencer, a few months ago, and she reached out to me the only 30 hours I was in the province that she lives in. And I said, "Oh my gosh, can we meet? I didn't even know you were in the same place." And she said, "Oh, I'm only able to meet tomorrow." And it worked out so perfectly. And that's what it's all about. It's about everything lining up intentionally and purposefully for a bigger cause. And it was quite interesting because when she met up with me, the one thing she mentioned is, "Oh my gosh, me and my husband were just talking about this yesterday because an incident just happened yesterday where someone was affected by a child not wearing a helmet." So it's quite interesting how the world works together and weaves all of the pieces together.
Okay, that's great and very good answer. So my next question is, what's a book, quote, or person that has profoundly shaped your journey? That's interesting
Well,
question.
there are many different books, quotes, and people who have shaped my journey, but I would say that the person I was most inspired by was Mother Teresa. She's someone that I've looked up to since I was a very small child. Um, and yeah, so that's someone that I could think of off the top of my head.
Okay, my next question is, what's the hardest decision you had to make on your journey?
Yes, I think the hardest decision that I've had to make on my journey is to part ways with different people or organizations. But I also know that that is always being led by God. And I know that sometimes it's all for the best. I'm confident in every single decision that I've made about this. Um, there's times where I've regret ending partnerships, but I also know that these partnerships support us if we do end up doing new projects. So I would say just knowing the difference between when to actually be disappointed and when to know that this is actually realigning with more organizations that are more lined up with our mission.
Okay, so my last question is, do you have give an advice for my viewers and me? So can you give me any advice for our viewers and for me?
Yes. My advice would be continue doing what you're doing. Continue reaching out to new people that you can learn for. Continue sharing your passion for your work. Continue sharing how you visualize yourself in the future because that all matters. And if anyone says that you can't do it, you just ignore that person. And when you do it years later, you can update them on your progress because just do not let anyone hold you back from all that you're able to achieve.
Okay, so thank you so much again for giving answers for all questions, and I am very happy to doing this interview with you, and that's my interview. I hope we are like this interview and you can like my questions and interview. So that interview is ended. So today day is Tuesday and date is 11 Feb 2025 and time is 9 p.m. at Pakistani time. So I hope you can like it my interview. So viewers, Allah Hafiz, Pakistan Zindabad, Zihan School Zindabad. Bye bye, take care, Michael.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much. I appreciate your time. Have a great night.
And good night at Pakistan. Bye bye. Okay, take care.